Welcome back to another week of Eye of the Storm, a Guelph Storm podcast with myself, Ryan Drury, the voice of your Guelph Storm on Rogers TV. And we're really excited for this one, ladies and gentlemen. We got a great special guest on, a guy that Storm Nation knows and loves very well, a man who wore a letter, the C for this team, Michael Latta. Lats, how are you, man?
Doing good. Good to hear from you guys. Happy to be back talking with the Guelph Storm. And yeah, I've been following along a lot, and yeah, it's going well.
Well, I want to start, as I do with most of the players that we have on the show, with talking about your hockey roots, obviously from the hockey hotbed that is the Kitchener-Waterloo area. What do you remember about first starting to play the game, and what made you fall in love with it as a little kid, Michael?
Yeah, I had two older brothers who played a bit, nothing too serious, but they played a bit. And then, I just started playing with my friends. All my best friends started playing hockey, and then he just won a tournament and just started loving the game, and it was fun. And then grew up idolizing the Kitchener Rangers, then growing to hate them after I got to Guelph, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah, I just from the moment I put on skates and started competing, it was just so much fun. And yeah, you got to meet all your best buddies who I'm still buddies with today. And yeah, that's a special sport for that way.
That must have been a bit of an awkward transition for you, being a Kitchener boy, and then all of a sudden having to be on the other side of the Highway 7 rivalry. But you start your OHL career in Ottawa. I know getting drafted into the OHL would have been a big moment for you and your family. When in minor hockey leading into your draft year, did you start to maybe think that the OHL was a possibility and maybe even playing pro was going to be in the cards for you?
Yeah, I thought maybe, we come from not a huge hockey family in the typical sense of guys growing up with hockey dads and stuff, but yeah, I would say about 13, 14, I started playing tournaments and Team Ontarios and kind of stuff, and kind of leveling myself up. And then I had a draft year and scouts were coming, and I was so kind of oblivious to the fact that not that I was one of the top players in Ontario at the time. And it just kind of got real, and then agents started approaching, and you're kind of just like, what the hell? You're just playing this game for fun, and then it kind of turned serious real quick. So that was, I would say, mid 15s. Like, you're like, whoa. And then, you start talking about possibly moving away the next year, and scouts are saying it'll be a first round pick and all this stuff. So yeah, it got real pretty quick for a 15-year-old kid, like, a lot of the guys in the OHL do. But yeah, it was exciting for sure. I still remember that draft. There was Guelph Storm scouts on the glass, and you're just like, as a kid, you're just like, holy smokes! You grew up just idolizing the OHL, and yeah, it came true. Dream came true.
It certainly did for you, and you had a great OHL career, which we're going to dig into. When you were a young kid during those days, when you reflect back, who are some significant figures along your young hockey journey that really helped you along the way?
Well, my parents, obviously, just countless out. It's every kid's story, but it's true. It takes a village too. I had a lot of great coaches growing up, and a lot of my teammates too. We had a really good team in Waterloo that was kind of rare for Waterloo at the time. Our age group just really pushed each other, and we had the likes of Colin Behenna was a captain for Barrie, and Mike Helmo was a captain for the Owen Sound Attack. Chad Lowry played. We had a really good group of internal guys that really pushed each other and just loved to win and compete, and that was big. And then there was, getting the OHL, Brian Killer my first year, he kind of teaches you how to grow up, be a man, and then Jason Brooks and Scott Walker and Guelph and all the coaches there. It was, yeah, it's fun. It's fun. That's the best part of hockey, the people you meet and you get to compete with and go to war with. So yeah, there's too many to say, but yeah, that was it's a few of them.
Yeah, you've had some pretty good coaches. Killer's the greatest of all time, and then I'm very good friends with Brooksy. He told me to say hi to you, by the way.
Good, yeah.
Big figure here with the Listowel Cyclones. Lots of championships and winning here. So Brooksy wanted me to say hi to you.
Yeah.
You look at your Ottawa career, you spend about a season and a half there, and then you get the news that you're going to get flipped to the Royal City and you're going to be a member of the Guelph Storm. What was that early experience like for you, and how did you settle in to being a member of the Guelph Storm, the rival of your hometown Rangers?
Yeah, it was funny, right? You kind of grow up obviously cheering for Kitchener, but it was a tough trade. I remember crying. You were 16 years old, 17 years old, and you're just like, you get drafted with certain guys and you play there, and it's everything in the world. And then you get flipped, and it was great though. I knew Peter Hall and Taylor Beck because they were my age, so I knew those guys, and Ben Sherratt. I knew Brooksy from under 17, so I knew I was going to a good coach and a good system and all that too. So honestly, and then I was kind of it was bittersweet because I was excited to go home, be close to my family, my friends, and I knew I had a good core group with back in Holland to grow with. But the shock at first, you're kind of just taken back, and but it couldn't have worked out better. I was, eventually very happy for the trade.
Well, yeah, it worked out pretty well for you and for Storm fans. You became a fan favorite very quickly, highlighted by your last two full seasons in Guelph, 73 and then 89 points, including time spent wearing the C. That time of your life as you're kind of getting ready to transition to eventually being a pro, you're playing in a great hockey market in Guelph, you're putting up incredible numbers. What was that 2 year period like? Because you were an extremely talented player and you put up two extremely good back-to-back seasons as a member of the Storm.
Yeah, it was so much fun. I mean, we had a very offensive team. It was just so much fun. It's you turn pro and the points don't come quite as easy. So you kind of remember going back to getting 2, 3, 4 point games, and you're just like, whoa, what's that feel like again? But it was just so much fun. Obviously as you get older in the OHL, you figure the game out. You're obviously, you grow in size, and you're a little more physically intimidating, and it was just so much fun. It was kind of the last push before you turn pro, and it became more of a job. You're kind of innocent at 18, 19. You're playing to go pro, but you don't really understand what it means to be a pro and stuff like that. So you're just having the time of your life with guys who are, the same age as you. You turn pro, you're 20, guys are 30, 35. And, just to go through that stuff with 18, 19-year-old kids maturing and kind of trying to grow as men together, it was a blast. And Guelph couldn't have been better city. It was just, it's so much fun there. The crowd's awesome. And yeah, it was probably a couple of best years of my life.
Yeah, it's been incredible even to see with the team struggling a bit this year, how great the fan base is. I mean, the barn's sold out all the time. The Sleeman Center, it's a special place, and they certainly remember you very well. And a big reason why it's not just about the points, it's the way you played the game. Like the Guelph fans, they love their lunch pail guys, especially when they're guys that produce points. And for your size, I mean, you're listed professionally at 5'11". You're not one of the biggest guys out there, and you went out every night and played an incredibly tough game, and you were never afraid to drop the mitts at any level. Your last two seasons of Guelph, 157 and 158 PIMs.
Yeah.
How much of those would you chalk up to the mitts being dropped?
Oh, I think mostly. I didn't take a lot of minor surprise. I think I had 20 fights almost back-to-back years. So what's that? It's 100 penalty minutes right there. So that was can't do that anymore. I think there's only 3 fights allowed. So yeah, it was fun. It was obviously a way bigger part of the game back then, a lot more toughness. And it's fun. I mean, you guys, as you get older too, you got to take that upon yourself to, we got 16-year-old kids on the team that, are 150 pounds. You got to make sure that, if they get pushed around a bit, there's got to be someone there to, let them know that's not okay. And, whether it's clean or not, they're your guys. You got to stick up for them. So, it's just, I mean, fighting's kind of changing. It's kind of coming back a little bit in the NHL, you see, but, it's just one of those things that, we grew up on in the 90s, right? When I came up watching hockey, there was fights galore and tough guys. You idolize those guys. And, it's just fun. And I don't know where it's going to go, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. And, it's nice to learn, how to fight, and then go to pro. You kind of, there's a few more bigger boys. So you got to figure out what you're doing in OHL first before you move on to the bigger boys. But yeah, it was just, that's just kind of the way it came about. I played a physical style, and if you're going to play a physical style, you're going to get challenged. You're going to challenge guys. And it kind of just, led to the, sometimes you're up in a game and someone's taking advantage, or some guys are down, you're trying to get a little momentum back. So it's just kind of a lot of different ways it comes about. But yeah, I think it's still a big part of the game. It should be anyway, I think.
Yeah, I agree for sure. I mean, we're the same age, and we grew up both watching the same era of hockey, and
Yeah.
for guys like us, like it doesn't really leave you like that excitement
Yeah.
factor of it. And like I said, I mean, you endeared yourself to the fans by playing that way, and for not being a very big guy, like that gets people even more juiced up when one of
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
smaller guys is willing to do it. And you did it a lot in pro as well. Let's start with your pro journey. Obviously, getting drafted, which is a huge moment for you and your family. You're a third round pick to the Nashville Predators. You didn't suit up for the Preds, but you played quite a bit for their AHL affiliate before becoming a member of my Washington Capitals.
Oh, yeah,
So
good.
I have very fond memories of your pro career. What was that like? First of all, getting drafted, and then, like you said, with the fighting and the other aspects of your game, transitioning to being a professional hockey player. What was that time of your life like?
It was a blast. I got picked 2 picks apart from Taylor Beck, which was hilarious. We're the same line, same team. We ended up living together in Milwaukee for 2 years, and we actually ended up playing the KHL together down the road too. I was at a wedding party, sure enough. So, that was nice too. I mean, just getting drafted in general was just an amazing feeling. We were in Montreal, and your head just spinning. You're just kind of, pick this 667, 68, 69, 70. You're just kind of, then you get picked and you're just like, I don't even think I knew who picked me at the time. Your head's just spinning, and it's just crazy. And for an 18-year-old kid, that's 10 years worth of of your hard work and dedication and sacrifice, and your parents sacrifice and everyone around you sacrifice, kind of just coming together in one very special moment. And then and then obviously then you figure out it's just begun. It's funny enough, you're like, all right, I'm drafted, but it just started now. But that was amazing. And then transitioning into Milwaukee, Nashville is a hell of an organization. They treat their players well. They develop their players well. They have a great development system there. And then and Milwaukee is an amazing city. I had the time of my life there. We had a lot of young guys on the team. We give them a chance to play right away and learn the right way and turn pro. And we had great coaches. We had Kirk Muller, who went on to left us to become a head coach in the NHL, coaching in Washington now, assistant coach. And then we had Dean Evanson coaching Columbus right now, which was probably my favorite coach of all time. He liked the hardworking guys, and just learned so much. So my first 2 years in the pro were just incredible, learning and living on your own and doing your own laundry and, all the fun stuff you don't think about, paying your own bills and stuff. So it was a big wake up call from getting babysat by the Billets in Guelph, but it was a lot of fun.
I know that afterwards, you're playing in Milwaukee, and then you get word, you've been through 2 really huge trades in your life. The Ottawa to Guelph one, obviously, and then you were part of a very famous trade in Washington Capitals and Nashville Predators lore, obviously the Philip Forsberg for Martin Erat and yourself. And I remember where I was when that trade happened. I was in the mall with my friends, and they all said to me, "Oh man, you must be really upset they gave up Forsberg." And I said, "Hold on just one second." Now I gotta preface this. Like I grew up a Storm fan. I mean, they were my OHL team when I was a little kid, diehard Caps fan. I said, "Wait just one second. They got this Michael Latta guy. You guys
Yeah.
aren't familiar with him, but I am." And I was actually more excited for you coming over. And you get to play your first game in Washington. Like, what was that experience like? Do you remember that night?
I remember getting traded. I was sitting on the couch. I'll just start with that. I was sitting on the couch and I watched it pop up it was at about an hour after the deadline. It was the last deal to roll in. And I was sitting on the couch. It was like 3:30 Milwaukee time. So it was 4:30 here or something like that. It was an hour behind there. And, we have one trade left to announce. It's Nashville. Oh, I'm like, okay. It's Nashville, Washington. It's Martin Erat for Phil Forsberg. I'm like, oh wow, big trade with him. And then 10 minutes later, and Michael Ladd. I'm like sitting there, like, what the hell's going on here? I remember I didn't get a call for like 15 minutes. My phone's blowing up. All my buddies, my family. I'm like just sitting there waiting for a call. And finally, I forget who I got the call from. I think it was George McPhee or Dave Poyle or someone just said, "Hey, thanks," or whatever. And sure enough, your mind's just spinning. And then, you're on the flight the next morning and get a whole new set of teammates. And that was during the lockout year. So it was late. It was April mid-April too. So, or no, early April anyway. So, not a lot of time to get adjusted to other teams. Like we just saw the trade deadline go early March. So that's, I had about a month and a half in Hershey there. And then the following season, sure enough, no, it wasn't Trotzy yet. I made the team out of camp. But we had veteran teams, and I knew I had Adam Oates as a coach. He's great. He liked me, liked my style, and but I thought I was the 13th, 14th forward. We had two veteran team, and then going to Chicago, banner raising night, and first game of the season. I walk into the dressing room that night, and my name's fourth line center. I was like, oh, I was not expecting to play. I thought it was going to be a healthy scratch, so I quickly called the parents. They got in the car right away, drove down to Chicago, 8-hour drive, got there just in time. So that was a super special moment. My brother, my two older brothers were able to come too. And it was a pretty special time. And then obviously just that first, the Chicago or the anthem in Chicago, for anyone who doesn't know, they sing it. It's just the craziest thing ever. So part that with the banner raising, parked that with the first game of the season. It was just crazy. And then my first shift in the NHL was on the penalty kill, going up against Kane, Hossa, Taves, Seabrook, or whoever they had at the time. So I got the puck out, dumped it in. It was like 10-second shift. I raced to the bench. I said, I don't want to mess up anymore. Just got off the ice. So that was the most nervous I've ever been for a shift anyway. So that was it was a cool experience, and my family was there. So that was very cool. They got the chance to get down, and good thing it wasn't in Vegas or LA at the time or something like that. It would have been. So I made it doable, which was super cool. And that's a moment I'll never forget.
Of course not, and rightly so. And like I said, I mean, OT3 right in the fire right away, eh? And that had to have been incredibly special. And your time in Washington, like myself as a fan of the team, but Caps Nation really, like everybody really attached themselves to you and Tom Wilson in particular at that time. And you guys kind of became, Joe Beninati and Craig Laughlin used to call you guys the Bash Brothers. And you were doing that. You guys would go out there and set a real physical tone. I remember watching, the NHL behind the scenes Winter Classic thing. And you and Tom Wilson, you guys kind of became billet parents almost to Andre Burakovsky. You were kind of babysitting him. And I remember the infamous shot of the fridge. There's just a bunch of ketchup in there. Yeah. You were the ketchup guy. Yeah. What is it about ketchup that's so special for you? You had to have it.
I don't even think it was. It was funny. Willie and I we'd go to, we go to Whole Foods after every practice, grab food for that night, or we go for dinner. So it was just the first time we got there, we went to Costco. I think we were like 22. Willie's like 19 or 20 at the time. So we went to Costco, loaded up on a bunch of stuff we're never going to use. We just, we thought that's what you did when you first get apartments. So I think we got a ping pong table and ketchup. That was basically it. And so anyways, go there, and then, it's like, it's an off day for us. We've been on the road a bit, and they're like, oh, well, it was funny because it was like Nicholas Backstrom, a couple of the older guys are like, don't follow us around. We're so boring. We got kids and stuff. He's like, they follow these two idiots around. They'll get way more laughs. So they ended up following us around. And sure enough, we had some pretty good laughs there. And the guys were giving it to us pretty good. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, the team in Washington, they were such a good group of guys. We're special. It's kind of looking back on, I think we definitely should have won a cup there. We just got mixed up with a hot goalie and Matt Murray in Pittsburgh there. He kind of just out of the blue, came out of nowhere. And I think that was kind of the 2 years in a row. That was kind of the Stanley Cup final in the second round. The Pittsburgh went on to win the two cups back to back. If we would have snuck out of there, I think I'd have a Stanley Cup ring right now, not just the President's Trophy. But and then Willie, like we were just kind of similar players. We were both young. We had such a good team, a lot of offense. We knew our roles. It was just, don't let anyone mess with the guys, and just like always said, physical. So he just always wanted us to be physical. And, 8-9 minutes a night, we just wanted to bring some energy to the team and, have fun. And it was kind of, the pressure was off. We didn't, we didn't need to score goals. We didn't need to do this. We just had to go out, play energy, stick up for our teammates, and and just your first year in the NHL, you're just having a blast. You'll do whatever all the guys say, and you're winning. So it was a lot of fun on and off the ice too. I had obviously lived with Wilson, and then Berkey the next year. I think he got called up. So halfway through, he was in the hotel. We had an extra room, so like, yeah, come live with us. So we got the Swedish meatball in there too. So yeah, it was just nonstop laughs. And yeah, it's some of the best memories of my life too. Those few years, just kind of no worries in the world, just kind of just going to play hockey and living your dream.
An incredible time for sure that I certainly remember fondly. And of course, your old teammates did eventually break through and win the cup that following year in 17-18. You and Wilson in particular were guys that were kind of attached at the hip, by certainly the media, but definitely in the way that you guys became really good friends. If I had told you back then that he'd be on the verge of a 30-goal season in the NHL, would you believe me?
I could see it. I played with him. I was, he just, I mean, not even his skills on the ice, just how hard he works and his presence, and especially the game's gotten a little lighter. There's not as many big shutdown D. So his body right now, he's so big and strong. Like he's just going to get to that interior, and he's got skill too. And the first couple of years, you didn't really get to see it because, like I said, it was just our job was to go bang and crash and stick up for. But everyone knew that's why he was a first round pick. Everyone knew he was going to break through eventually. And we had, I think, I don't think Osh was there, Brower, Ward. Like our right wings were just stacked. So Oshie came in like just. He just there's no room for him, but everyone knew right away. That's why he played at 19, 20. Like they knew he was going to break through eventually, and I don't think many people saw that. From an outsider, I probably wouldn't have predicted that if I wasn't practicing with him every day and playing with him and knew his personality and his work ethic. But yeah, I'm so happy for him. I wish he was on the Four Nations team. Would have been a little more exciting with those when the first 10 seconds dropped there. I think America would have been on there. We're not so cocky, but yeah, he's just he's just a good guy and a hard worker, and he's just a great teammate, and he's got skill too. It's funny, everyone kind of just, especially back, everyone's seeing it now, obviously, but back then it was just kind of he's questionable hits, and he's playing on the line, but he kind of settled it in, and that's why Washington saw when they drafted him, and you could tell he's making him look real smart right now.
He certainly is. And I need to ask you one last Washington question. It's a pretty obvious one. Obviously, you got to be around what is soon to be numerically the greatest goal scorer of all time. Alex Ovechkin was your captain, and Nick Backstrom was the alternate captain. Playing with those two guys, I mean, they're legendary players for many different reasons. What was that experience like for a young guy like yourself?
It was amazing. I mean, yin and yang. Always hilarious personality, he's just always full of energy, just making you laugh. And Nicky's kind of a little more quiet, but funny in his own right. And just on Nicky's just we called him Papa as a joke because he's an older guy, and we just it was Willie and I looked at each other, we're like, no one touches Nicky. Like whatever they do, I don't care who it is. If it's nobody touches Nicky, it's over. We took that to heart. He's a guys, relax, all right. Willie be foaming at the mouth, so breathed on him. But it was just, it was a lot of fun being around those two guys. And it's just cool looking back now, and retired a couple of years now, and just looking back at, what Ovi's doing now at 39. And just looking back on how good our team was. We had, TJ Oshie, Justin Williams, Mike Green, John Carlson, Braden Holtby. Like we had some special teams, which is, I mean, just, it's gonna be cool to tell my kids about one day, and just looking back in the memories, because I have buddies who played kind of a few years in the league like myself, but in Columbus or something. I mean, good players there, but they don't have the stories and just the experience being around guys like that. It was just incredible, and I'm forever grateful and cherish those memories for sure.
Well, I can tell you that Caps Nation definitely still remembers you very fondly. I'm in all the chat groups and everything. I see
Good.
people bring you guys up, and the way you played hard, and that transitioned into a great career for you over in Europe too. You mentioned obviously KHL experience with Kunlun Red Star, some time in Sweden. I know your last professional season in 21-22, you're in Austria. You had some time in the Czech League too. What was that experience like? Because I know a lot of people, my cousin's playing over there right now. Like people rave about playing pro hockey over in Europe. What was that like for you?
It was fun. It was, I've always liked to travel. I've been all around the world. So that was a cool experience. wasn't quite as intense as the NHL and stuff, but it was fun. It was, KHL is such a good league. It kind of gets a bad rep with, the Russian gas jokes and all that stuff. But it is a incredibly skilled league and fun and competitive. So that was a lot of fun too. And then just, having that experience too was cool for a year. And then Sweden is another incredibly good league, very defensive, very fast. The fans are amazing over there. And, it's like, it's kind of like OHL in Sweden, the way the fans pack in, and it's all city driven and everyone's homegrown there. It's the fans are crazy and they take it. It's like playing for the Guelph Storm. It's like you go around town, you're like a borderline celebrity, and it is such a cool. And there's smaller towns too. It's not like the NHL or Chicago and Vegas. There's smaller cities, but they're just like all about their hockey, which is kind of like the OHL too. So it was such a cool experience. The fans are chanting all game, and the hockey's very good too. You see all the Swedish kids coming up. That's where they start and develop, and they're superstars in the NHL. So that was fun. And then Austria and Czech were fun. Like, we're pretty good too. It was just Austria is such a beautiful country, so that was fun. A lot of imports on the teams for a lot of Canadian guys too, but. Yeah, it was cool. I mean, the KHL in Sweden were pretty cool leagues just to see from that side too.
You've had an incredible hockey journey, Mike, and I'm curious, if there's something in mind for you that's next in the game. Like, have you ever considered getting into coaching, broadcasting? You've always been a pretty well-spoken guy. Like, do you want to join me up in the booth at some point? Like, what are you considering just in terms of, your future in the game? Because you definitely have something to lend to the game still, I think.
Yeah, it was, it's been a couple of years now. I'm actually working for my brothers right now. We have a little crane company, or not little, but a crane company and stuff like that. But you never know if coaching comes around. And so I'm busy right now. I got a little girl who's almost 1 year old and another one on the way. So when life slows down a bit, I'd love to stay involved with the game, whether that's coaching minor hockey or seeing what the guys in Guelph are up to and need a little help, or an extra voice. So you never know. We'll see. But I can't thank hockey enough, and Guelph and Washington and all the places I play for the life it's given me and the experience that I had and the friendships I've made. It's just still I was playing with I played hockey last night with Matt Kennedy, Tim Priamo, Nathan Martini, Cody St. Jacques. A bunch of my old Guelph buddies. So he's still like, you see that's probably 17 years ago now, aging myself a bit when we all played together. But, you still make those memories and joke and laugh. So, it's something like that'll just never die. It's pretty cool.
Well, Mike, it's been an incredible journey for you. It's great to see you doing so well. Congrats on the young one and another one on the way. I'm sure they'll be hockey players, I would think. Yeah. I want to quickly, before we let you go, I was given a couple rapid fire questions to throw your way. So we'll go through those now. Toughest guy you ever fought, doesn't matter what level.
Jared Bowl was tough. He was a really tough guy. OHL guy, fought him. Couple guys in the minors you probably never heard of. Bobby Robbins.
Yeah,
Bobby Robbins. He was good. He beat me up pretty good. A little out of my weight class. Man, I'm trying to think any guys in the OHL, young to older guys. Matt Martin, I fought. It's my first OHL fight. There was a lot of tough guys, but I think probably Jared Bowl or Bobby Robbins were the heaviest for sure.
Bowler was a tough guy. Absolutely. I like that answer. Favorite goal you ever scored?
Favorite goal? Probably my first NHL goal. It was to tie or to go up in the game. It was to tie the game in Detroit with 10 minutes left. My parents in the stand, some friends from back home. You'll never forget that. But it wasn't just a 7-1 goal, and in a game, it was to tie the game, put it in a shootout, I believe, against Datsuk was on the ice too, so that was dashed him up for one. So not many people can say they did that too often, so that was a lucky one.
Absolutely, they got to get that on your hockey card.
That's
dash
right,
one to Datsuk. Come on here.
That's good.
Your favorite away barn to play in the OHL and the NHL?
OHL was Kitchener. It was just so much fun.
Of course.
I loved it. It was just, all the crowd hated me. London was good too. They'd chant my name sometimes. Uh, in NHL, probably going into Pittsburgh is always fun. The biggest rival. We got a lot more ice time that game because they were. We usually played third line, so
Yep.
we were pretty gritty. So they liked matching us against Maxim Lapierre and keeping him quiet and stuff. So that was a lot of fun too. I'd say Pittsburgh. Or I would say Madison Square Garden's just a different world too. It's just, I mean, not from the hockey
Yeah.
perspective, just from the, surrealness of it. It's just you're kind of just blown away going in that barn.
MSG, yeah, it's a special, special
Yeah.
place, and so's Capital One, where you played an awful
Mhm.
lot. Final one I have for you here. I know that when you're a rookie in the NHL, teams like to do it a little differently. There's usually some challenges or things that they make the rookies do. What's the worst punishment you received as a rookie in the NHL?
Oh, it wasn't too bad. Nothing. It was a few small pranks and stuff, but the guys are pretty, they just rip on you a bunch. It's just everything's a chirp at you and stuff, especially when you laugh a lot and you dish it out a bit as a rookie. The guys just give it to you pretty hard, but it's all love and it was a lot of fun. But yeah, the boys were pretty hard on us, just in a joking way, because we were young and we had a bunch of guys, old married guys, pretty much on our team. So they like to give it us pretty good, but we had so much fun with it and it kind of played. And Willie was a good sport too, so we loved it. The boys were giving it to us all the time, just for little things and a little of that. And, but yeah, it was just all part of being young. I did it with McGinn and Finn and Kosmachuk when they were my rookies in Guelph. They loved it too. I still talk to those boys, so it's just a part of the evolution of being a young guy to an old guy, and then turn pro and being a young guy again and getting older again. It's just that's why hockey's so special. You're 15 years apart. You have basically nothing in life in common. Married kids, 20-year-old single, and then you still have this common bond of hockey, trying to win a hockey game and having fun with guys you pretty much would, if it wasn't for the sport, would never be around or talk to. Or so yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah, I heard there were a couple snipped skate laces. I heard Marcus Johansson and Matt Niskanen were pretty hard on you guys. I heard so.
JoJo, yeah. I don't
Yeah,
know. JoJo was scared. So
yeah. There you go. Yeah, I'm sure he'd be running and
I'm
hiding.
trying to think. I'm sure they messed with us a bunch, but I can't have it. I don't have anything popping in my head. But it was
No
all.
karaoke or anything.
And we probably deserved it, if I'm being honest. We were a little
Yeah, there you
shit.
go. They kept you in line, though. They
Yeah,
kept you in line.
exactly. Someone had to.
Final one for you here, Michael, and I really appreciate your time. And I know Storm Nation would love to have you come out. I know our
Yeah.
final home game is against Kitchener on a Sunday. We'd love to
Oh,
maybe see you out there. That'd be
let's
great
do it.
on March 23rd. Be great to have you out. I'll end it with this. You're such a beloved figure in Storm history because of the way you played and the things that you did. What in your mind is the most special thing for the guys that watch this and the guys that are part of the team now? What's the most special thing about being an OHL player?
I kind of touched on it before. I want to say you're kind of oblivious to what's to come. It's just pro is a different animal. And honestly, I had a great time in pro, and like we had all the talks about Washington and all the laughs and stuff. But there's something just pure about the OHL. There's no money yet. There's no the politics aren't crazy. You're not scared of getting sent down. It's just pure hockey, and it's just kind of you're kind of naive. You don't really know what's coming yet, and it's a beautiful thing because you just play the game, and it's so fun. And there's not that much. There was a lot of pressure, but there's not that much pressure yet. People don't understand that, and it was just just going through that with kids your own age from the same you know province. It's just pure. It's so much fun, and you play for the love of the game, and and all the experiences you have growing up. I mean, it's such a critical time in your life, become a teenager to a man. So I think just the energy of it, it's pure hockey, it's pure fun, and it's just it's such a fun thing.
It absolutely is. Well said. Love of the game. That's the most important thing. And the game has loved you back, and Storm Nation still loves you very much, Lats. So thanks so much for doing this. I really, really appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, we'll see you at the rink sometime.
Absolutely. That'd be great. Remember, everybody, you can watch this show on YouTube and find it on the Guelph Storm website. You want to come down and catch the Storm in action. Season's almost over, just a few games left. Visit the box office at the Sleeman Center or the Guelph Storm website. We'll be back next week with more Eye of the Storm.